Hello, hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back. Everyone is healing from some type of trauma these days, and I believe trauma can transform into empowerment. And this is the exact reason I am so excited to have my invited guest today, Hilary Momberger Powers. Hilary actually voiced the character of Sally in many of the Charlie Brown cartoons, and that excites me a lot because I love Sally, so I love her as well. And for the past 40 years, she's dedicated her life to helping women heal from trauma as a certified life coach, author, and motivational keynote speaker. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really excited to share on your platform because of your content. It's so great to share with women who have that exuberant, I gotta get there moment in their life, because that's when we get so excited, it destroys us. And I love talking about that because there's ways to maneuver and still achieve your goals without destroying yourself in the meantime.
So you are all about trauma. So let's start right there. What's the difference between coping with trauma and actually truly transforming it into empowerment, full confidence?
Well, we live in a world where our what we look like is so important. Like you got to look like you're playing the part. So, being a woman who goes after something, even if I'm terrified inside, I put on that face, I dress the part and I go for it. And what ends up happening is we're very complex. We're body, mind, and spirit. And what we do is we keep thinking if I lead with my outsides, my insides will catch up. As soon as I get there, then I'll be okay inside. And so what happens is I grew up in a world where I was immediately put into fame at 5. Not something I wanted. Today, the kids today all want to be famous. I'm like, no, let me be a kid, let me play. But I was placed in a very important position to finance and to make my narcissist mother happy, which is an undying, you can never, nothing is ever enough for someone who's a narcissist because they can't feel. It's never soaked in. So I grew up at a very young age going and get it, putting the mask on. How you doing? Great. Everything's great. Make the job. I kept thinking, I got to get the job, get the job. Now I'm being conditioned at a very young age to be a go-getter. I don't even know it. I just want to please my mom. I want to make everything okay. I don't want my brothers and sisters to starve because these were little notes that were placed in my mind. I stuff it deep down in my basement, which is my Traumaville land. I'm in fear as a child. We all experience stuff. We come into this world, God makes us totally pure. We have two fears. I'm not going to get fed and loud noises. That's it as a baby. And then everything else is packed on us. So I take these feelings and I stuff them deep in the basement, thinking I'll get back to them later. Because when I get over there, then I'll be happy. And you take this characteristic of being in a traumatic, I had trauma happen. I mean, what is trauma? It's such a thrown around word right now. It's like the du jour, like, oh, I'm holding space, or, it triggers me, all these little key words. But trauma really is, think about an earthquake. You're in LA, right? Hello. You think about an earthquake. What happens when everything is shook? The plates, titanic plates shift. So you're no longer the same. So when something drastic or something uplifting, maybe a grandfather died or a parent died or your parents got divorced or you didn't make it to school and you tried so hard, what we do is we go into a state of either I'm a people pleaser because these flight, these flight, I either live or die, good or bad, black or white, everything becomes duality because I have this reptilian brain that says, you got to survive, figure it out, AKA the overachiever. If I'm better than you, if I'm up here and you're down here, it means I'm here. My brain has been shifted. Like I don't see things. I'm a little tilted. I'm a little askewed. So I'm operating in this live or die, fight or flight, gotta get it. Oh my God, at a young age. And then I bring those characteristics. So either I'm a people pleaser, the little girl that does everything right. Oh, I did the test first. Oh, I finished it. I did it. People, please love me now. Do you love me? Am I going to feel safe? Can you help me feel safe? Can you help me feel safe? Or you're the loner, the one that sits on her iPhone or computer, doesn't deal with. What are you doing studying? No, you're actually checking out. Or the controller, the bully, the one who runs the class, the one who's the valedictorian that has to have everybody has to be exactly where you say it is. So I'm taking on one of these characteristics. One runs out of fuel. My people pleasing gave up. I became the loner. I found drugs and alcohol. It's a great way to check out. Girls today do it with diet pills, Adderall. They do it with all these other things because they're still trying to get up there, top of the hill, top of the anthill, top of the anthill. And then when that doesn't work, we start controlling. We start having to have all our friends be a certain way, people, guys, girlfriends, boyfriends. I don't care what your du jour is. We have to keep everything safe because I'm in this illusion in my trauma. It's not real, but it feels so real that if I don't have everything perfectly right, I'm going to die. And there's my original wounds. And then I try to go into this real world. I say that very loosely. And I go into the work world. And then all of a sudden, I see more Tyrannosaurus Rexes out there, more guys in survival. So I barrel up, I get more masculine, and then I start getting sick. I get my breast can't, I get all of a sudden I have lumps on my chest, my periods. I mean, these are really real things because I'm a body, mind, and a spirit. Now, when I'm going through this trauma, I feel totally alone. I can't talk to my parents about it as a kid. I don't want my parents to be mad at me that I'm crying, and I don't want them to see I'm crying because then they're going to give me, like, I don't know what story you tell yourself. I know my stories, and I've dug deep, deep down in the basement. And I do that with women I work with. Let's go down there together. Let's look at your stuff together. So I use all these trauma responses to live in a three-dimensional world where I'm seeing everything as a catastrophe. Everything's, I'm always in a hurry. If it's not perfect, and then I start pushing people out because you're not perfect and I don't look good, or you're taking my, oh God, you're ruining my vibe. You're taking my zen away. Whatever flavor you call it, I'm trying to isolate and make myself feel safe. And so what ends up happening is we eventually crash and burn. I'm a woman and I'm my operating system is emotional and body keeps the score. So now your body starts breaking down. You don't feel well. Your hair starts falling out. These are things that are very important to women, first of all, because we're judged so much on our outsides. We aren't really judged as much as we judge ourselves. Because if I look good, then I'll feel good. But I had a boyfriend when I was 16 years old who was such an ass, but he was very smart. And he was an ass because he told me the truth. And he said, Hilary, your funnel's on backwards. You see life messed up. Because I really believed that out there was where my happiness was. And over the years of finally hitting my emotional bottom of saying, I don't care how many jobs, like I have had an incredible, you look at my resume, it looks great, but you don't see the cracks. In the cracks, there was a lot of pain, and I had to hit those bottoms and say, I'm no longer gonna work for you. I'm gonna work for this. And so I had to let everything fall. It's so great, ladies, to have a goal. but you can't make your goal your God. And what I did is I made that my happiness. I made that job the happiness. I made those kids, the house, all these things outside of myself. And unfortunately, because I still have that old trauma, nothing is soothing me because I can't connect. I'm in fear all day long. Gotta get there, gotta get there. Where am I going? I don't know. I gotta get there. I don't know. There's no red carpet. There's, like there to be, but there's not. But even then, it's not enough. I'd want another red carpet because, see, I need to be up here and you be down here just to be okay. And until I allowed myself to just say, Uncle, I can't do this, and ask for help. And that's very hard for someone who's always got to be number one. Let's do this. And once I was able to let my ego get smashed, because I'm operating on my ego, I'm not operating in any spiritual basis because I've got to be my own God to get my life together. I got to figure it out. I got to fit. Our family starts, I don't need help. I got this. I know, I know, I know. And I had to get rid of that saying, I know. I don't know. I don't know. Because once I say I know, I close my mind. So I practice is saying, I don't know. I need guidance. And thank God I was beat up enough to shut up. And as a result of that, I asked for a hand, another woman to help me. And I got to tell you, it happened in so many times when I left, went to juvenile hall. I have a very tainted, dark background where I was famous and then I became good girl turned bad because I needed to be in survival. Got loaded, was on the streets, got sober in Venice, overdosed, did all that route. Everything you hear about girls, like look at the movie 13. Yeah, that was me. Mommy Dearest. Yeah, that was my mom. I had all that stuff. And I had a big resume to be a victim. If you had my life, you'd be. But see, that stopped working for me to get the desires of my heart. It kept repeating, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So no matter what I got to, I was dying inside. I was just dying inside. And when
Wow.
I looked back and I remembered Rodney, this boyfriend who eventually died of an overdose, said, your funnel is on backwards. I thought about a funnel. Now, a funnel has a big mouth to it, but has a little pee hole. There's my pee hole. I kept looking over there. Over there, I'll be happy. And when I turned it around, I saw the big picture. And I realized that little hole was what I was projecting the world. No wonder I got far and then I fell apart. I got far. Because in the inside, I was still feeling like I'm not enough. And so having the guts and the courage and sometimes the assistance, I would love to say I could pray it away. I tried that, it didn't work, but I got to do the work. And the work is taking a risk and finding out that you're not those scary things that you thought you were. And that's how I start to heal myself. I start saying things like, "Oh, honey, it's not your fault what happened to you, but we can do something today. Maybe we can help somebody else with it." So my pain became my purpose, and then it's my full pleasure now. Like I love going deep down in the basement with with these women and friends, and it doesn't matter male, female, but I attract women because I'm a chick magnet, you know? And I've been on the gutter and I've been on the top of the world. So I have an idea, like I'm in the middle, I'm in the gray zone, and I don't judge you because, sweetheart, I've been judged. Oh well, oh well. There's always going to be a critic. Okay. But I have learned how to build a team around me, friends and some family, not so much family. Family don't get it. They see me as a certain way as a kid, and that's it. They can't change their mind. But my friends can evolve, or I've been to therapists, I don't have an MFCC behind my name, but I didn't learn this in a book or in a classroom or in a university. I learned this by living it. And I think that's the greatest teacher is one that says, I get it. I know how you feel. I can imagine how you feel because I have felt that way too. But I have a solution that I have learned. Let me share that with you. And that's my
Mm.
life's work.
Thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Hilary. That's a lot of bravery. I hear many pivots in life, and so many women go through these pivots. And only later in life do we even learn about these vocabs that they don't tell you about in school, like trauma, like narcissism, all these amazing words that you mentioned earlier. And I feel like I really wished our school taught our students more emotional intelligence or personal development subjects. And I think one of the things that really shifted my mindset was this happened to me to this is happening for me,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Would you
Like,
agree with that?
oh my God. Oh, iron sharpens iron. I am so grateful. I joke around about it, and I've also learned how to take responsibility for everything in my life. My friends say, how can you take responsibility for being raped? I'm going to take some responsibility. First of all, I didn't take care of myself. I placed myself in a position to be hurt. I didn't protect my body. I took for granted that the world was going to take care of me. I need to own that
Mm.
because it's not saying it was my fault that the guy did it to me. But if I look back and I really go down in my basement and say, Hilary, you haven't learned how to love yourself. Like, no wonder this has happened. That's not your fault. But what is my fault is I'm not taking responsibility to start loving myself now. I still keep beating the drum about, oh, it happened to me and nobody likes me and I'm black and I'm white and I'm this and I'm from a poor family, I'm from a rich, whatever your du jour is, we always add a captive. It's because of what if we erase that and we said, I am so grateful for everything that happened to me. I would not change one moment. Why? Because I am the woman I am today, and I've learned how to say, you did good. Boy, with all what you were up against, damn, you're a fighter. Damn, you have resilience. Girl, look at how many people you get to help. I've started to see the pony in my horse shit, meaning I can find the good in anything. And that has become an art, that art of me looking and seeing that, you know what, if something's happening in your life, one thing I always say, and I always encourage people to say is, thank you for this. Man, what do I get to learn from this? The word is get. What do I get to learn from this one? Whoa, this is a shit show. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, it's my turn in the barrel. Hold on, buttercup, boy, buckle up, and I make light of it because I can't take myself so serious. There's a lot of other people who've had worse stuff happen, but they seem to be thriving, not surviving, thriving. And once you start taking responsibility and start saying, I don't know, I'm no longer suffering from victimese. I want to be a victor. I don't want to be a victim. That's the step. Desire can get you anywhere.
I love that mindset. So, what is the sign of someone who's actually beginning to rise after trauma?
One of the things you see is they stand taller. It's physical. You've worked on
Mm,
your physically, body, mind, spirit. You start taking care of yourself a little better. Your voice, you speak less
mm,
and you listen more. That's a sign of growth.
mm. I love that because confidence and empowerment is not about being louder. It's actually being about being more trusting in yourself. It's the inner work. It's not shown from the outside that you need to be louder, right?
Yes.
With your clients, how do you help them rebuild trust, rebuild that confidence after life has knocked them down?
Well, first of all, the first step is when you say, I need help, you're already starting to heal. That's already your character is beginning to change. Because when we stuff, it's like it gets more rotten, more rotten, more rotten. And when I work with them because I have gone through it, and I take them through the same way I have, is I look at, where did this fear come from? Whose is it? Most of our fears are our parents, our friends, our family, our schoolmate, our teachers. Oh, you'll never make money if you don't get a PhD. It's like, there's my principle. I can't get anywhere. When we start exposing it, it's like when you were in science class and you had under the microscope. Once you expose the organism, what happens? It starts to die. So we start exposing your fears, looking at where they came from, and we start redesigning what you choose to believe in, because every day is a brand new start to a new future.
So we've worked through the fear. We are working towards our new life. But
Mhm.
so how can someone tell the difference between if you're living in your true alignment or you're just having trauma driven ambition? Like we want to go closer to our goals, right? Not away from our trauma. How do
Mhm.
you work on that?
Well, the first sign is, if you're in a hurry, you're in your trauma. Okay, if you're in a hurry and if you got a goal and if you can't hear anything else, you're in your trauma. There's physical signs. My stomach gets tightened. I start to breathe higher. I feel like and that's when I practice mindfulness. Mindfulness means I'm gonna take a breath. And also I pray. I pray as much as God, universe, whatever your du jour is, help me be right here, right now. And I'm going to trust that everything is exactly as it's supposed to be. Like you say, it's like it's going to unfold. I practice mindfulness, but it's a lot of it is our body. I can see women that all of a sudden their eyes, they get beady, it's like, whoa, take a breath. Be in the moment. Take a breath. Little teeny steps in the day you're in. It's great to have a goal. But here's the thing, that can't be your happiness. You got to find out. You stabilize, seeing, tasting, touching, hearing, smelling. Those are your responsibilities. The goal is the universe and God's. You do the footwork, you'll get what you're supposed to get. But in the meantime, it's up to you to take care of your inside. This is my life. That's my living. Two different things. So I need to protect, nourish, love, and really take care of my inside life, which is my thoughts, my feelings. And when I stuff it and I ignore it, I go back into a trauma response.
I love how you mentioned safety earlier. I feel
Mhm.
like a powerful, confident leader is actually rooted in safety, not control, and not just simply positive thinking. Yes, we do positive thinking. I preach on positive thinking, but that alone does not heal trauma, right?
Right, 100%. Well, body, mind, spirit. If we just want, I have to use that Charlie Brown, but it's like we just talk. We're trying to convince you so we can feel safe. You see how we do everything from the outside in? There's my funnel. No, I got to do it from the inside out. And it's great to have that ambition, but the safety is, I'm taking care of me. I'm not waiting for the outside life to take care of me. It's my responsibility. It's not my mom, my dad, my job, my boss, the income, the Bitcoin, the what. That's not going to make me feel safe. I can have all that stuff, but if I am, it's like a stock market, up, down. Am I going to go on that emotional roller coaster with them? I get to observe it and go, I am good today. Oh, well, big coins down. I'm all right. I'm doing good. I'm just pacing myself. And I tell you, you've got to get your senses stabilized. If you don't have all the senses stabilized, you can't get a sense of community. You can't build self-worth, self-esteem. You can't be productive. And then you can't help another human being,
Mm.
which is like heroin. That's like the gold mine. When I get to share my heart and my pain and my triumph and my encouragement with somebody, nothing can buy that, my friend. No success can reach that incredible feeling I have inside.
Mm, I can't agree more. That true sense of fulfillment and purpose,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? But I think you mentioned earlier, because of the trauma, we
Hmm.
get triggered. We we might be reactive. And as you mentioned earlier, it's growth when we stop reacting, right? When the outside world doesn't bother us anymore. But of course, it takes a lot of work to get there. So
Yeah.
how can people honor their sensitivity, right? They might be more sensitive to certain subjects or topics because of their past trauma. So how can they honor this sensitivity and still be powerful and decisive and the confident women they want to be?
Well, that's a great question because if there were one answer, it'd be great. I'd sell the planet and be a billionaire. Some of the ways is, first of all, when I said your body feels it, I had something happen the other day where someone had said something and I immediately want to respond because that's what strong women do. We defend ourselves. And it's in that moment I can say things like, "Oh, here she's back." I've
Mm,
identified my trauma girl. Her name's Helga. Okay. Helga is fierce. The name says it all. It's like, oh, she can be wretched, right? She pushes everyone away. And that's when I go, oh, it's back. Take a breath. And I don't have to give an answer immediately. The perfect girl thinks she does. The
mm,
one in charge is like, okay, what I'm going to do, it's take a breath. And you're allowed to do this. You're a human being, not a doing, ladies. Is say, you know what? I'm going to get back to that. Can we move to something else? I'm protecting myself because this is an area that I'm not willing to talk about. Let's bench that. Let's talk about that let's in a couple of days. Let's focus on this. So what I get to do is I'm taking responsibility for my pain. I'm taking care of my insides. I'm not making myself a victim and getting angry at the world not talking the way I think they should. And I'm giving myself a chance to breathe. And when I redirect it, that's me being the greatest little mommy that says, "Oh, honey, you're having a bad day. Why don't you take a nap?" That's my way of doing that. And then what ends up happening is I get stabilized and the world reflects that because here's my movie. What I'm inside becomes my outside. And then the power to calm the world down is unbelievable.
mm. And on your way to healing, or when you need that picker upper, is there a favorite quote that you've gone by in life?
Um, well, I do. If God's for me, who can be against me? So I feel like I got an army behind me. I always pull that one in. And then I just say, God, 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 not because I'm going to a religious state.
Mm,
I'm just stating I'm not God. I don't have to worry about it.
mm,
So I say it inside and, and I say things like, I'm on my way. I'm on my way. See, I always think if I'm going to Phoenix from LA, right? We're going to use LA because you're in LA. If I'm going to Phoenix and I get to Yuma, Arizona, do I say, oh, forget it. I didn't make it?
mm.
No, I say, we're on our way. We're almost there.
Thank you
Just
so much
moving,
for
loving.
sharing your wisdom with us. I loved everything you just said, and I will link Hillary's website below so you can connect with her if you are going through some type of trauma. And we are here to guide you and help you and bless you through to the best version of yourself. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.